Young lady with the glasses.
Thank you. Nadia Belbisi with NBC Television. Mr. Minister, many Arab states, particularly the GCC countries, publicly declared that they are against any military option to be used against Iran. And many people believe that even with the toughest sanction, it's not going to be enough to halt the nuclear ambition or program. What do you think the options in front of the international community, the Arab states, and what do you need to hear from the Obama administration in particular?
Well, the issue of the Iranian nuclear threat is something that is of a concern not only to the West, but I think it should be a concern to the whole global, the international society. The requirements of the IAEA and the Security Council resolutions that has been passed against Iran should be fully respected and implemented. We have always, in our discussion with our Iranian neighbors and friends, we have always urged them to respect international law and to abide the international requirements imposed or passed by the IAEA. But at the same time, we think that the proper way and channels to deal with this issue has to be within the confines of the international legitimacy, within the confines of the multilateral diplomacy, within the confines of the United Nations. Any unilateral action outside this, outside the conduct of international law would open the way for total chaos in the region. For that reason, we have urged everybody that we should stick to the diplomacy and the proper channels is within broader discussion within the United Nations. Now, saying that, we have also to point out that there are currently, we had a conference here in the United States, in Washington, about the conference of nuclear security. And next week there is a conference in New York about reviewing the NPT. Everybody should be accountable to this international body, the UN body, and everybody should be subject to the NPT requirements. That is including Israel, of course. For that reason, I think that our position is that there is no military solution to this issue. There is only diplomatic and political solution, and the whole world should be on board in confronting the dangers of proliferation, nuclear proliferation, and no country should be exempted from that.
Dr. Altman?
John Alterman from CSIS. Mr. Minister, welcome back. It's great to have you back. I wanted to ask you about the GCC and security. It's my sense that while the GCC as a structure has always had a security flank, it's always been the bilateral relationship with the United States that all the member states of the GCC have looked to. Whether it's the GCC or the GCC plus 2, it always seems like, to me, like the GCC minus everybody except the United States. Every country in the GCC except for Saudi Arabia has a U.S. base on its soil. But as you point out, there's not a unilateral solution to the security issues in the region. What are the most important opportunities that you see for concerted GCC collective action, as opposed to what we've seen much in the past, which is GCC states really looking much more to the United States than to their neighbors to work through security issues?
Well, that's a good question, John. I think that the nature of the threat would determine the kind of response. We have seen that the GCC, when Kuwait was invaded, worked in such meticulous way that earned the respect of the world for the unity of this organization. Of course, some of the some of the threats that we are being faced at the GCC, we have our own personal assessment of how to respond to these threats. This differential assessment, if you will, of the nature of the threat produce such diversification or differences, if you will, of each country's assessment. And for example, the kind of relationship that Kuwait has with the United States, for example, is somewhat different from some other countries. We are a major non-NATO ally. We have a long-term security agreement with the United States, but not only the United States. We have the long-term economic, long-term security agreements with United Kingdom, with France, with Russia, and with China as well. In that sense, I don't think that it would be fair to say that since there is no common GCC assessment for each and every possible threat to the GCC, then the GCC security structure is lacking. I think that the level we have common and agreed position when it comes to clear and present dangers. Our position, for example, with respect to the Iranian occupation of the Emirates position is clear, categorical. We, in terms of the Saddam's threat to Kuwait, it was very clear and categorical. And our position with respect to the Israeli aggression against the Palestinians is also very clear. Now, recently, we hosted a donors conference for Yemen because we realized that what is going on in Yemen would have an implication on our security. So we hosted a donors conference, and we generated $3.5 billion for Yemen's development plans. We're going to meet again as a foreign ministers of GCC in Sana'a to pursue this project. But then we have differences with respect to how to react to the breakdown of security structure in the Horn of Africa, for example, how to deal with the piracy issue in that area, how to deal with the rising tension in Pakistan and the ongoing conflict in Afghanistan. We do have our differences in that. But overall, I think that what the underlying common strategy is that the integrity of each state's sovereignty that's an absolute red line.
Question right here, young lady.
Thank you. Mina Al-Arabia, Sharq Al-Awsat newspaper. Mr. Minister, I want to ask you about your relations with Iraq. Of course, many lingering problems remain. One of them, of course, is the issue of Iraq trying to get out of the Chapter 7 resolutions. This is something that the U.S. has pledged to help Iraq with. Previously, we've heard that Kuwait and Iraq are working on this, and this is an issue that they have to sort out bilaterally, but not much movement has happened. What are the issues that still remain, and are you optimistic that there can be movement on it? Thank you.
Well, it's not only the United States that has committed to help Iraq to satisfy all requirements imposed on it. Kuwait has always continually repeated that we want to work with Iraq closely to fulfill all remaining requirements, so it would be declared as fulfilling all requirements, and the Chapter 7 automatically will not be operative.